Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank all the students and the teachers and the parents who took effort to get over to the inauguration. I'd like to formally welcome you all for the participation preparation workshop for the International Olympiad of Informatics. And to start today's agenda, I'd like to invite Professor Ihan Wickramanayake from the School of Computing, University of Colombo. And we are also expecting Mr. Niel Gunadasa, Director Education and Information Technology from the Ministry of Education, to join us. However, let's proceed. I'd like to call upon Mr. Sifan Sawahir, Mr. Hasita Tagaspitiya, Mr. Dimutu Sarachandra, and to represent the schools that are joining with us today, I'd like to invite Asan and Nadeep, students from Vidyaratna College from Corona, and Mr. Sanjay Vijayaratna, teacher from the Vidyaratna College, Corona, to light the oil lamp. Welcome Professor Ihan Wickramanayake to give us the introductory address to the International Olympiad of Informatics. Members of the organizing committee, the teachers and students, and representatives from the media, as well as our alumni, those who have come here, as well as the staff of the University of Colombo School of Computing. So I first of all warmly welcome all of you all to this inaugural workshop which we have organized targeting the International Olympiad in Informatics 2014 to be held next year in July. So my task is to give you all an idea about this program and give you information that will help you to follow in order to reach the goal we are aiming at. During the course of the day, I am expecting Niel Gunadasa, Director ICT from the Ministry of Education, also to join us because he has helped us to link up with the schools, and hopefully he will be here during the program. So I will first briefly highlight the goal or what we aim to achieve from this type of activity. So this ultimately is a competition to compete among initially the students within the country and then within international. So when competing, basically you can learn a lot with respect to various techniques of programming and develop skills, get to know other students with having similar interest, and through that build appropriate network knowledge sharing. So this
It's a sort of a forum to gather from school children with respect to this information technology area. So hopefully who comes into the next stage basically are those who have some minimum level of ability. So it's a matter of developing it further, and then you can easily reach the level that you can compete among, not only among yourself nationally but also internationally. So this IOI refers to informatics in Olympiad. So Olympiad links up with the more commonly with sports in Olympics. So with respect to education, the equivalent one is this Olympiad. So there are many Olympiad events happening and worldwide events with respect to different areas is listed. So Maths Olympiad has been there internationally for a very long time. So informatics is more recent, but with respect to Sri Lankan term, it is more or less the oldest being around as Olympiad competition. So IOI is the first Olympiad to be introduced in Sri Lanka to take part in internationally. It has been there since 1992, and thereafter only other Olympiads emerge. Now we have long list of competitions, and for information technology, the main one is this IOI. So the Sri Lankan version of it, we referred as National Olympiad, basically with respect to the informatics. So how we plan to conduct the program to reach this IOI 2014 is what I will explain next. So what we did was, few months back, we sent information to schools. We also publish newspaper advertisements announcing about this, and asked the students to get into this website called ioi.lk. This ioi.lk site, once you get in, you will get most of the information relevant to this competition. I hope most of you all have already done that. Those who haven't done it so could do it immediately once you return home. And we want you all to get enrolled in that first, because we must know who are the students taking part. So to get the data about you all, the registration is important. And also we need to have a verification from the school that you are a student. So this registration process, the form has to be sent through the school. So those who haven't done that and those who are interested in taking part is strongly encouraged to go through that process. So once you go through the process, you will see there are a set of questions asked, mainly to test your aptitude. So one of the things required is you need to develop your aptitude, and so if you can do that any number of times and qualify that process, and then it will allow you to submit the data. So once you submit, one of the things what we ask is an email address. So ultimately, to proceed, we need a unique email address. So some of the schools have shared the email among the students. So for those students today, when registering, we gave only one account. Those who registered using separate email addresses, we are given individual login accounts. I will explain about that later. So we need to track and help on individual basis, not as a team or as a school. So that's something you all will need to resolve. Getting an email address is not difficult. It can be done easily using various email services like Gmail, Yahoo, and so forth. So far, nearly around 200 odd students have tried this system, and we have 150 unique registrations, and for all of them we have now created username passwords to access material on learning a programming language. So those who haven't learned programming yet also can get into the system, but those who already know programming will have an advantage, because you need to know programming to compete. So we expect about 200 to be enrolled in this program as the first step, which is already done. There may be a few additions after this workshop. So what we are helping is to learn programming language, and we have selected Java because we have some learning material related to Java. Java has some value with respect to industry as well. So industry, a lot of applications are developed using Java. So even this knowledge you can use for other purpose later on. But what we more encourage on the competition aspect is to move to C++. So those who know C++, then you could continue on that. But those who are starting need some help and start with Java. But once you learn that, you will see changing to C++ is very easy task. So that's why we have put two parts to proceed from the programming. Then all those who take part will be asked to sit for a test, which we refer as a programming test. And so the idea is to make sure that you know some programming, some coding ability. So we hope to have a programming test in December. 28 December is the date we have selected. That's a Saturday. So after the O-levels exams are over, so 28 December we will have a test at this location. And so those who go through this process of registering, whether you learn Java or C++ through the program is in material, but you can then come and sit this test. So from that test, what we hope to do is we are going to select a set of students who are able to program and help them to improve the programming skills, problem solving skills. So we will have like training programs to help in developing that. So there will be some training programs happening at this university in 2014, targeting weekends, and also we will also provide some material for you all to access, like learning Java online, to learn some algorithms online. That also will be facilitated. So once you go through that process, we will have a test to select the national team or the national winners, as well as those who will participate at the international level. So that will be more towards May, June, and July will be the competition. This year, next year it will be held in Taiwan. This year we sent a team to Australia where the competition took place. Now there is a separate another competition called APIO, Asia Pacific Olympiad in Informatics, and that competition is held through internet but under supervision. So everybody who passed the programming and who are willing to take part can be given opportunity to sit that test. Generally about 100 can be facilitated. So everybody interested can reach that level. So I mentioned two competitions. Main one is IOI Informatics Olympiad, International Informatics Olympiad, and the other one is the Asia Pacific one. So both these are linked to each other, and so it is organized and run by the University of Colombo School of Computing together with 7-Step Globe, who have come forward to help the university in managing this event. And so the information of that, basically from this iui.lk you can get information. I will also briefly mention, if you learning you can't get selected to this international competition, there are many other competitions, so this knowledge training will help you. So there is a Southeast Asia Under-17 competition. The last one for this year was held last weekend in Colombo, and so it's a more easy competition compared to the IOI, and so that's another opportunity that is organized by the Sri Lankan Computer Society. Then there are competitions not directly linked with programming, problem solving, but using technology to come up with some creative, innovative solutions. And for that we have this Young Computer Scientist competition, which is organized by the Federation for this Information Technology, FITIS. And winners of that is linked with again an Asia Pacific competition called APICTA. So there are many opportunities to excel your skills and take part in different competitions. So I will just mention a little bit about the IT industry. Now the IT industry is growing rapidly. 10 years ago we had about only 15,000 IT professionals in the entire country. Now we have over 70,000 IT professionals. So it has had a rapid growth, and we want to grow further, but we don't have people to meet the demand. So people like you all should take that challenge and get into this field, and you will have plenty of opportunities. And usually for good programmer, as the first salary, anyone will recruit paying over 50,000. And if you are very good you will easily earn much more. So the opportunities are there. So it's up to you to take the challenge and getting to this field. So another thing is why this field is able to pay people well is because most of the customers are overseas, the Western world, and so we earn in dollars, and this industry is the 5th largest export earning industry in the country, and earning over 500 million for a year, and we targeting to double it within the next 2-3 years. So this IOI itself is an individual competition. You will learn as a team or as a group, but then when you are competing, you have to do it on your own. So that means you need to develop the skills to write programs on your own, and that's how the competition takes place. So some other competitions like here, it's a teamwork. So here it's individual. So that's one key difference. And the other is it's only for students in the schools. So to take part, you're supposed to be at school at least the latter part of the previous year. So if you have just completed school, still you may be able to take part, but there is an age limit 20 years by July 1st. So if you are younger than that, then you can compete. Even if you have set the A-levels, you will still compete. So to come to the level what we expect from this type of competition, you may need a longer period of learning. So we are starting now. It may be not this year. Next year you will get some experience. Then year after you will be able to do well. So internationally, over 80 countries take part in this IOI. So each country can take about up to 4 students to compete, maximum 4, and so as a result, over 300 students take part in given competition, and it is held in different countries, different years, and so you get exposed to meeting many people. So we have taken part since 1992, except for 1 year we have sent teams every year. Since 1994, every year we have won medals, and but the recent past we have not been able to win. So my aim is to win medals as well. So to help organizing this program, it was originated by then the Government Computer Council called SINTEC. Later it was when the ICTA agency was set up, which is the policy making body of the country. They told the university to take over and run this program. So that's why we are directly running it, but we are doing it with the help of the Ministry of Education. But that doesn't mean this is limited for government schools. Private schools students also can take part. So all are given equal opportunity. So I would also like to just mention a bit of 7-Step Globe. They came forward to help us in the process of organizing. So a lot of the background work related to this program was done by them, and some of those members are who came for the lighting and so forth. So I thank them for coming forward for this national cause. and trying to find sponsorships and help us in providing better training opportunities to develop the IT sector. So, just a photo from a past IOI team, and few of them in this photo is already here, and some of them you will interest to you. So, as you saw, we have won gold medals in the past, and two of them are already here, who will you will witness, and you will also get to know what others have done. I will leave the other speakers to talk about that. And finally, I just want to mention, a lot of you all are used to targeting on O-level, A-level exams. So some think that by spending some time on this programming, particularly during weekends, you lose the time of going for classes and may not be able to do well in exams and so forth. But once you see what the past IOI alumni has done, you will realize that you can do well in both. So if you do well at the local A levels, then you can get into the local universities, but local universities won't guarantee you will get the IT or computer science to study because it's competitive. Whereas if you go overseas or if you do it privately, then you can select the course you want. So now we have many courses where we provide opportunity for those who couldn't come into through the free education process to the higher education sector. There are other avenues, including at Sri Lankan School of Computing and many other places. So, so it's not that you are sacrificing one to achieve another. You can do both at the end. So with that, I will end up my speech and pass it to the next speaker.
Thank you, sir, for the valuable information on the IOI and all the other insights. And next up is a speech by another distinguished IT professional, and who's probably running one of the best revenue-generating e-commerce businesses in Sri Lanka, and by far I believe it's one of the first e-commerce businesses that started in Sri Lanka. So I'd like to call upon Mr. Dulit Hera to give us an insight to the business industry and some knowledge about the IT background that he had. Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't have any slides. I'm just going to tell my story. I hope most of you guys know Kapruka.com. I started about 10 years ago, and today it's bringing in close to about 1 billion rupees of foreign revenue into the country. But you know, it's just an entrepreneurial story. If I just talk about Kapruka, what I want to talk about today is what a difference programming has made to my life. And it all starts with curiosity and the need to experiment things. And I think it started as early as when I was about like 6 years old. I always tell this story to my friend. I remember this small red color van I had. It's a battery operated toy. And all I wanted to do was to take it apart and see how the wheels of the toy is working. How can this turn when you put the batteries in? So I managed to somehow take it apart and then figured out there's this thing called a motor. I didn't know it was called a motor then. that there's this ball-like thing that connects to the battery with 2 wires and it turns the wheels. That was one of the most amazing things at that time, and I think it completely changed my brain to start digging deeper into this kind of stuff. So I managed to take the motor out, connect it directly to the batteries and let it run on its own. And that was again such a big achievement. And then I started getting into robotics, and then I started, I remember building a robot that can, fire missiles at the age of around 9 or 10 years. What I did was I had connected an housecooler to the hand of the robot, and then, took a light bulb filament and connected to the housecooler, and I give it current and it fires the thing. So those sort of things, at that time there were no computers, and even if there were, programming was not at all ever heard of, and there was no internet, and there is just a few books at Vijitapa or some other bookstore that you can pick up and read on your own. So computers were not so what I'm trying to tell is, those are the things, even without computers, it was somewhat of a programming kind of a concept that got me going. And after my A-levels, I'm going to just fast forward this story. After my A-levels, I went out of the country to the United States for further studies. And at that point, I started this program called Sithiyama.com. That was in year 2000, and that was before Google or anybody had even thought of making maps. So what I did was I got the map book from the survey department in Sri Lanka, and I laid it out and I scanned it and made a big JPEG image of the entire Sri Lankan map, probably the size of the screen with that resolution, and made a web application that can that's connected to a database. So if you search for Royal College or Ananda College, it will show up on the map. So that was quite a big achievement for me, because I just did it for the sake of, I really wanted to try it out, right? Because I wanted all these pet projects to be there. And then I remember this project being showcased in a university workshop, and right after my graduation, Microsoft picked me as a employee just for seeing this Sithiyama.com. They saw this and they were really impressed that this one guy had the urge to go through all the trouble of scanning these books and making this program. So they saw the value in it, and that got me the job. And while working at Microsoft, only I started Kapruka, and that got me the ticket to come back to Sri Lanka and to build this billion-rupee company today. So this is a story in a nutshell. But coming back to programming, I feel that, see, at that time, when I was trying to learn programming, there was just DW Basic and very basic resources available to us. If I brag more about it, I'll only be bragging how old I am. So I'm not going to all say, at that time we had no electricity, blah, blah, blah. It's just, but what I mean is, I had a very limited number of resources to get into programming. And I see the same thing you guys, because you guys are from schools from various areas of the country, maybe in the same situation where I was at that time too. So there's something to relate. So don't let this kind of discourage or see this need in getting this information into your head. And programming is so fun even today. What probably distinguishes me from most other CEOs of big companies in Sri Lanka is the fact that I still code. I at least code 2 to 3 hours a day still, and I absolutely love doing it. It's almost like a meditation thing for me. If I don't do it, I feel like I didn't have a meal that day. It's such a and one of the programmers are one of the few people in the world who gets a sudden reward every once a week or so. Why? Because you are day to day, you are kicking the head and trying to solve a problem. You waste days on a stupid problem sometimes, and then finally you find the answer, and that eureka moment comes to you, and you put your hands up, you get up, and you go down. You go out of your room with a happy smile. You get to do that quite a lot. As more and more you program, you get to do it quite a lot. How many jobs give you that satisfaction? You ask any of the programmers, they once a month or twice a month, they have these bugs that they cannot resolve, but they somehow resolve it and you get the reward immediately. That's something. And also I always believe in, if you take most of the tech companies that are successful, Take Microsoft, Bill Gates. Take Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Take Google, Eric Schmidt. Take Facebook. All those has a programmer running that company who his grassroots were from programming background. They are not business people. Their minds were set with this programming concept. So get that into your head. It's such an important DNA that you have. If you are interested in programming, it really distinguishes you from other business leaders. So another thing to add is whenever you are getting into the programming concept, this is not only about learning a language. This is not only learning about C++ or Java or one specific thing. It's about your analytical skills that you are working on. Those are the few words that I just wanted to add to the team. I want to keep it short so it's clear, not too much information, and hope this will inspire you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hera. So I believe you all got some information from a person who's been in the industry and who's enjoying being in the industry and enjoying coding every day. As he said, he codes 2 hours per day. That's quite a lot. Okay, and to move forward, I'm gonna invite another prominent character or prominent person from the IOI background itself. He's been an IOI medalist who's been able to achieve a gold, silver and a bronze, and who's been participating in the IOI since 92 to 96, and after that he joined the training team and kept training the next generation of coders from Sri Lanka to participate in the IOI competition. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Sifan Zawahir to give you an introduction or some knowledge about the IOI alumni and getting to know about what sort of questions, what sort of problems that you will face during an IOI competition. Okay. Over to you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon everybody, students, teachers, everyone. So I have two objectives here. First, to introduce a little bit what IOI questions are like, or what kind of challenges you're going to be getting yourself into. And after that, to introduce a little bit what people who participated in the IOI competition in the past, what are they doing now. So first I'll start with the IOI questions and what kind of things you all might be getting yourself into. So first I'm going to take a small problem that actually we can solve by hand. We don't need a computer for it. It's called a bridge question, and we use this actually in our IOI training as well. And this bridge question, sometimes we call it 10, 5, 2 and 1 as well. And I'll take you through that problem. So in this problem we have 4 people who want to cross a bridge, something like the bridge we had in the picture. And the thing with these people is that they go at different speeds. So there's one person who's really slow, and he's going to take 10 minutes to walk across the bridge. The next person takes 5 minutes, and the other 2 are a little bit faster. There's one who does it in 2 minutes, and the fastest one can cross the bridge in 1 minute. And so even we have friends, they walk fast, they walk slow, so something like that. We have 4 people here. But because they are friends, if there are 2 people who are crossing the bridge at the same time, they will go at the speed of the slower person. You're not going to leave the other person behind and race to the other end of the bridge. 2 people will go at the slow speed. So for example, if the 10-minute person and the 5-minute person are crossing the bridge together, they will take 10 minutes. 5-minute guy is not going to run and say, I'll wait for you, then they're going to go together. This bridge is not very strong, so only 2 people can be on the bridge at a time, any given. And this is a night crossing, so we need a torch. But there's only one torch. So we have to use the torch to cross the bridge. So basically, if two people cross the bridge using the torch, somebody has to bring the torch back so that the rest of the people can cross. Right? We can't be very athletic and throw the torch across the bridge or something. It's too big for that. So the question is, if you have these people 10, 5, 2 and 1, what is the fastest time to cross the bridge? Right, so some of you already have your pencils and papers out, so I'll give you a few moments to try to crack the puzzle, see who can come up with the correct answer first. So I'm just going to walk around and see what's happening, so I'm not finished when I come up here. If you think you have the answer, just raise your hand so I can come and see what you've done.
Apologies if it wasn't clear from the statement, but everybody has to cross the bridge.
Okay, several people have come to the answer of 19 minutes, and the correct answer is faster than 19 minutes. Right? Some people also give 24 minutes, which is even slower. So how the 19 minutes is coming is, first if you, let's say send the 10-minute person and the 1-minute person together, that takes 10 minutes. Then the 1-minute person comes back, now we're at 11 minutes. Then the 5-minute and the 1-minute goes, it's 11 plus 5, 16. 1 comes back, 17, and then 2 and 1 go, and it's 19. Right? But that is not the fastest. And so one person so far has the correct answer, but we'll give it a bit more time. I'll give you all one hint. With 19 minutes, you all are thinking that we are wasting time when somebody has to bring the torch back. Right? But it is true that that time is wasted, but that is not the only place we waste time. There is some other place we waste time as well, and that tracking that is the way to the solution. Somebody has to carry the torch. So we are looking for a time faster than 19 minutes. One person has got it. Okay, one more person has got the correct answer here. I'll expand on the hint a little bit. So not only are we wasting time when somebody is bringing the torch back, which is one part of the challenge, but when somebody who can cross the bridge in 10 minutes and somebody who can cross the bridge in 1 minute is going together, this 1 minute guy has to walk really, really slowly because the 10-minute guy is with him. Right? So the solution actually involves that the 10-minute and the 5-minute cross the bridge together. So here the hint that 10 minutes and 5 minutes cross the bridge together. So they will take 10 minutes for those two to cross, right? So if 10 and 5 go at the start, and if the 5-minute person brings the torch back, then it's 10 minutes plus 5 minutes, already 15 minutes gone. So that doesn't seem like a very good way to beat a 19-minute time. So 10 and 5 are not going first. Somebody else has to go first. And 10 and 5 will go later. Okay, we have one more person who got the correct answer, which is 17 minutes. So how the 17-minute answer works for those who haven't cracked it yet. First 1 and 2 cross the bridge. So that takes 2 minutes. And then 1 brings the torch back, so then we are now at 3 minutes. Then 10 and 5 cross. So 3 plus 10, 30. 2 is still on the other side, who went first. 2 brings the torch back, we now get to 15, and then 2 and 1 cross, and it becomes 17. Right? Now, if you didn't manage to solve this problem, don't feel too bad, because the first time that I encountered this problem, I also took quite a bit of time and some hints to be able to solve it, and I eventually got a gold medal as well. So the fact that you didn't solve it within this time doesn't mean that you are not suitable for this competition. It's just that you need to train your mind how to address this kind of questions. However, at IOI we will not get exactly this kind of question where you can work out the answer on paper and then say the answer is 17 or 19, but we have to address a more generalized version. So for example, I give the story saying 10, 5, 2 and 1 and that the obvious answer is 19 but the best answer is 17. But then they might say, okay, if we have 4 people with times T1, T2, T3, T4, and these numbers can be very different numbers. So that can be like 99, 50, 20 and 1, or 99, 98, 97, 96. Right? So whatever the 4 numbers they give you as the times, to work out what is the fastest way to cross the bridge. Or rather than even limiting for 4 people, they can say there are n people. So there could be 1 person, there could be 4 people, there could be 10 people, there could be 20 people. Only in the input data for the problem we will know. Right? So, how do we solve something like this? Earlier at least we had the numbers 10, 5, 2 and 1. We could try, let's say 10 and 5 first, let's say 1 and 2 first, let's try this, let's try that. And we were experimenting with different numbers. And actually when it comes to trying this in programming, the approach is actually the same. So one way that we might approach this, whether this is the accepted solution or not depends on few more complications which we can't get into today, but one general simple option is to think what can be the first move. Right? If you have 4 people with the time T1, T2, T3, T4, what can be the first move? Right? And it turns out there are 6 options for the first move. So you can send T1 and T2. That is in our early example 10 and 5. Or you could send T1 and T3, so that's 10 and 2. T1 and T4, that's 10 and 1. Or you could send T2 and T3, T2 and T4, T3 and T4. So there are only 6 ways that you could send these 2 people across. Right. So then, who brings the torch back? There are 2 options each, right? So if T1 and T2 go, either T1 can bring it back or T2 can bring it back. Or if, let's say T2 and T3 go, T2 or T3, either one can bring it back. But actually, it turns out that it's not 2 options each, because if we analyze this a little bit from an algorithmic perspective, we can quickly see that always the fastest person on the other side can bring the torch back for the first move. Like if you have 10 and 5 crossing the bridge, you might as well get 5 to bring the torch back, not 10 to bring the torch back. So we still have only 6 situations like this. So T1 and T2 go, T2 brings it back. T3 and T4 goes, T4 brings it back. So we have 6 options. And then we can see, okay, who is left to go next? And then we'll come up with maybe about 24 options. So with a computer, actually, we can very quickly evaluate all of these options and figure out what is the fastest time. If you try to do that by pen and paper, it would take rather impractical amount of time, and that's probably why we didn't try doing that way. But it's not very hard to write a computer program that will evaluate all of these different numbers. And we can, one of the things with IOI is that it's not only about getting the correct answer, but getting the correct answer quickly. So depending on how fast your program can solve the problem, we will get more points or less points. So sometimes you have to optimize a solution, and one hint there is that if we have identical situations, no point to evaluate them separately. Like for example, if we had T1 and T3 cross, which the time T1, and then T3 brings the torch back, and then you have T2 and T3 cross. So the total time for that is T1 plus T2 plus T3. And the second example is the same end result, but in a slightly different order. And it takes the same amount of time. So rather than having maybe 6 options and then 24 options, maybe we can reduce it to 6 options and 18 options. So these kind of things we do to make the program faster. So even this kind of thing, I know in this very abstract sort of terminology, may be a bit hard to grasp, but this is the kind of things we will be not trying to cover in such a fast-forward mode, but when we do the training, we can take more time to explain these concepts, and these are the things that we will equip you all with when it comes to tackling programming problems. But also, because this seems very abstract, I mean, who crosses bridges like this, right? I mean, either the bridge has a light, or your mobile phone has a light, or something like that. Why are we studying this kind of thing? So, a very similar kind of programming approach is what is used. Now, if some of you came from the Fort railway station, right, and let's say you came from far away, you came by train, you came to the railway station, and you want to get a tuk-tuk to come to the University of Colombo, right? And you want to make sure that this guy takes you on the quickest route because you are a little bit late, right? And given how the tuk-tuk industry, sometimes the guy you get at Fort station may not know the way to Colombo University at all. Right? So you have a smartphone, you go to Google Maps, right? And Google Maps knows that you are at the Fort station, you point to Colombo University, and Google Maps can give you this. So now how does Google Maps know that to get from Colombo University to the University of, Colombo railway station to University of Colombo, that this is the fastest route? Right? So it's exactly the similar kind of approach that we could do for the bridge crossing problem. I'm not saying that Google does it this way, but just one way it can be done is because all this map data is in the servers, the program can check, okay, from Colombo Fort railway station, where can I reach in 15 seconds? So then there will be some kind of a circle around the station on the roads leaving there that you can reach in 15 seconds. And then you can ask, from each of those places, where can I go in another 15 seconds? Right? Now obviously part of that answer is you can come back to the station as well, which is useless because others will be going up and down in front of the station. But you will now find a larger radius with the station somewhere in the middle. Then you can ask, okay, in another 15 seconds, where can I go? So from each of those points, that radius just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's snaking along all of these roads, right? And every time the one-way road system changes, then people have to update this as well so that it doesn't send you in the wrong direction. But that same computer program can keep tracking, and find what is the fastest way to get here. Now in Sri Lanka we don't have the real-time traffic updates, but if you try this in the US, it will, into that calculation, take into account what is the traffic in each road and give you the fastest route at that time. Right? So if you're using Google Maps to navigate somewhere, it's ultimately the same kind of computer algorithm that we use to solve the bridge problem. That will be used to solve something like it. So a lot of real world problems, it's not happening by magic, but because people like you, people like us are writing computer programs that can find the answers. I hope I haven't scared anybody by sharing these kind of things, because what I was really hoping to get across is that we learn things through this Olympiad experience that can be utilized towards addressing real world problems. And that's why there are career opportunities for people who do programming, because companies need people who can write this kind of program. So even if it seems difficult, it really isn't. So hopefully if you get through into the training process, then you will learn some secrets that will show you really how simple some of these things are. Now I'll move on to some of the alumni. Sri Lanka sent the first team to Iowa in '92. I was part of that team. I got to be there partly because at some point in school a friend came and said, "Machan, I saw this ad in the newspaper, there is some computer competition, shall we apply and see?" So those were the days we applied for all sort of competitions just to see what happened. So we applied. There was an IQ test back then. It wasn't an online IQ test because internet didn't really exist in Sri Lanka in 1992. So it was a paper IQ test, came and did the paper IQ test, got selected, got training from people at that time, and went to Germany for the first competition that Sri Lanka took part in the IOI. And similarly, over the years, we've had people who got opportunities to go. So probably the 4 people who will go to Taiwan next year are either seated in this room now, or they are your schoolmates who couldn't come because we only had to limit the attendance to 2 people. That's right. 4 people will get the chance to represent the country next year at international competition. And this is what has happened to the people who had this opportunity in the past. Some people are in academic or research areas. Okay, Navinda didn't even make it to an IOI team, right? Because there's competition to get into the team, but he got into the training pool. And he is a research scientist in robotics. So these are things like heavy vehicles that can park themselves, and when they're moving, IOI this year was in Australia, so we actually managed to meet up with him and see a demo of his work. So this machine can park itself, but if somebody crosses the path of the vehicle, it can detect it and it can stop, so it will not run the person over automatically. So CSIRO is the research organization he's working for in Australia. Sachinta was a participant in IOI in Finland. He is a PhD student in Australia as well on a research area called urban radar, so how to use radar in an urban environment. Arushan was a participant with me back in the first IOI in '92. He is also a postdoctoral researcher, so I think I should have put Dr. Arushan. Pramila was a bronze medalist. He is a bioinformatics scientist in Singapore. Harshana was a silver and bronze medalist. He is also a postdoctoral research associate in UK. So apart from the people who go into academic pursuits, some people are working in the IT industry. Nuan was a participant in Mexico. He's a consultant at Virtusa. Kiran, I couldn't find a picture of, but he was a participant in China and he's at MIT. So these are some of the top IT companies in Sri Lanka. Amrita was participant in 2002 Korea. He's at 99X Technology. Amrit was in 93. He's working in Australia. Buddhika, won a bronze in 97 South Africa. He is in Oracle. For those of you who haven't heard of Oracle, it's like pretty much the biggest name when it comes to databases. Nayana Samarnayaka was also not a team member, but he was in training pool. He's working at Google. Actually, it's quite interesting because Nayan is working at Google, Sasakti is working at Google, Prabhat is working at Google, Tushara, who won 3 bronze medals, is working at Google, and Asanka, who won 2 silver and bronze medals, is also working at Google. So it's almost guaranteed that if you want a job at Google, if you get into the IY, you can get the job at Google and you can update the map software, anything else you like to do with it. And not just from IOI in Sri Lanka, but even Olympiad participants from other countries quite a lot end up in Google and Facebook and places. So apart from working for these big IT companies, some people are into doing their own thing, entrepreneurs. Mohanjit was a participant in 2005. He is running his software setup in Finland since recently. Praneeth was a participant in 99. He's now involved in a startup, but before that he was working at a place called Lab 126. And if you've heard of the Kindle, the book reading device, so Lab 126 was the place that actually built the Kindle for Amazon. So the most recent release of the Kindle Paperwhite, Praneeth was working on that project. Then we have a couple of people who are doing a startup called Medical Joyworks. This is an app that has over 1.5 million downloads across the world. In the rankings, it's in the US and many other countries at #1. And some universities are using this app for educating doctors. And one of the things I said was that the creative problem-solving approach we learned at the IOI helped us a great deal, as we were able to apply the same principles to solve the educational problems of doctors worldwide. So behind this we have Dr. Nayan Somarathan. So he's a doctor as well as IOI gold medalist and a bronze medalist. So he's the founder of Medical Joyworks, which is registered in the US, and half the time it's working in Chile and half the time it's working in Sri Lanka. And with Nayana there is another one who won 2 bronze medals. So he's also at Medical Joyworks. Then another startup to introduce is Photospin. These guys say that algorithms learned during IY days helped us immensely to write a super fast in-memory data store. And the thing, the way that I explained how Google Maps finds the shortest path works if you have a few locations in Colombo you're trying to find the answer to. But when you have so much data about all the maps in Sri Lanka, that approach would take rather much longer than Google Maps actually takes. So you need faster methods to manage the data. So one of the things these guys are doing is also making things really fast, because they analyze, you can basically plug this software to the accounting system of a company and it can do various analytics and identify areas where maybe fraud is happening. And instead of the money going to the supplier, somebody is taking the money out of the company for themselves. So behind this setup there is Varuna, who was gold medalist in 2004 as well as 2 silver medals. So Varuna is here. And together with Varuna there is Chaitya. Chaitya is sitting next to Varuna here. So he won a silver in Croatia and he has 5 bronze medals. Chaitya is an interesting guy because I think he's the only guy who won a medal every year that he went to IOI. I went 5 years, had 3 medals, so there were 2 years that I didn't get anything. Most of the other people who won also had some more years, but this guy was like every year he's getting a bronze medal, and then lastly he managed to get a silver medal. So the two of them are in the setup called Forest Spin. They are over here. So either during the Q&A part or later before you leave, you can talk to us or talk to them to find out more about the experiences. So what I've been trying to show attention of people is there's so much opportunities available for people to get into the IOI. In a country like China, where there's obviously millions of people who are eligible for this competition, if you do well at the IOI competition, the Chinese government funds you until your PhD. Like this is when you're in school, right? So they will fund you for a university degree, a master's degree, and your PhD degree. And that's the kind of recognition that a country like China is able to afford to give. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka is not able to offer those sort of opportunities, but there are plenty of opportunities internationally as well. So if you do well in this, it's just really unbelievable the kind of opportunities available. So that's the end of my presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Sifan. I believe everybody enjoyed this session on an introduction to the questions that you might face, and probably got all of you thinking how much further that you could do with your brain. Rather than just reading books, answering question papers, there's much more that you can achieve, there's much more that you can do. Okay? Alright, now Professor Gihan mentioned to you that there is a Java course that is going to be available for you to access online and train yourself so that you could, sit for the exams happening, or sit for the test that's going to be happening in December. Okay? I'm going to invite Mr. Niel Boteju, who's going to give you the introduction to the Java course and tell you how you can use it so that you can go back home, try it out, and come back in the next sessions that we will be holding in the future. All right.
I can't hear you. Shall we talk now? Because time has come to talk. Always listening, no? But we have to work now because now these people are not going to contest. Ola is supposed to contest and get us the most important medals to Sri Lanka. That is what we expect from you all. So now Professor Gihan, when he was doing his the speech, he mentioned few words. And after that, our speaker, talked about some problems. So now, you have that idea. At the same time, as an initiative to give you all the confidence and the strength, I am not going to use the microphone, okay? Because you need to have that strength. You are going to talk and compete with the world. Try to understand. Okay, you are not going to compete with the neighbor. That is our Sri Lankan contest now. But please determine to compete well and then win. Now, what is the conviction that you have? As Professor Gihan, our dear professor mentioned, you are going to deal with come to 10-1, and then next week the speaker told to you about the problem that you face, right? But now, once you go there, you can't speak in maybe one of your favorite languages in English or English or Tamil, no? Right? They are natural languages, right? Now you are very familiar with these languages, and you are not going to use these languages, but you have to use a computer, and then by using a computer, you have to talk to the computer, and you have to utilize the computer and get this competition win, right? So now here, before I start this, this introduction, actually tell me what do you mean a natural language? Now you know Sinhalese, right? Well, there are people who are here, they can speak in Tamil, right? When we are speaking in Sinhalese, now we use different terms. Now let's say very important word in Sinhalese, Amma. It's a holy word, no? You know that. What do you mean Amma? Hello, time to speak. This otherwise you can't work, no? You know the meaning of Amma, right? Karta. So they are reserved in, this our single language. Now when it comes to Tamil, when it comes to other languages, likewise you can see this type of reserved words, right? They are representing some words in natural languages like Sinhalese English. What I mean. And at the same time, now when you are speaking, now let's say now I speak to you all with my ability, but let's say I want to speak to someone who is in USA now, maybe Samarana, who is in somewhere. Okay? So how do you do that? Can you do it? With your own ability? You can't, right? So what you have to do, you have to use, maybe you want to make a telephone call and talk to that person. Can you understand that? Right? So then now when it comes to a language, you have your own ability. When it comes to a particular language, it has reserved words when it comes to a language, okay? Natural language. At the same time, sometimes we use other facilities also when we speak. So then now when we are trying to speak through a computer, we have to solve the problem through a computer, right? So then we have to use different languages developed by different people, okay? So now here, in order to compete with this competition, you are supposed to use the particular programming language called Java. What do you call it? Okay, Java, right? So then now, what can you do now? You use your pens and pencils to solve the problem that we discussed few minutes ago. What can you do? You have to convert it to a programming language. Before that, you have to familiar with an algorithm, right? Algorithm has to be converted to a programming language. What do you mean an algorithm? Actually now, even though it has big words, now day to day, day by day, when we are working, we follow these things. And now you plan to come here, no? Okay, so your teachers, very important teachers, advise you to come in the morning, and then at this moment, this time you are going to leave here. Before that, you have to get ready, right? So some people, who maybe still they are waiting at their schools, who couldn't follow the given instructions. So now when we are working with the computer also, we have to follow certain algorithm and we have to convert it to a programming language. Now here, we are going to use the language called, here I am going to introduce Java language, but our dear professor told you can use C or C++. But if you know Java, very easily you can get familiar with other programming languages. Java is a very simple but very powerful programming language, right? So then, now let's say, actually now in the world there are so many natural languages available. Now let's say, now you know how to speak in Sinhalese, but let's say I am going to ask a question in another language. You don't know, no? Because you don't know that language. Now I ask a question in Japanese, what's your name? But now since I mentioned that meaning, now you can understand. Now here when it comes to computer programming languages, so there are so many languages available, specialized for different tasks. Okay, so what can you do? Now this is a new language. You have to learn. Okay, you have to learn. You have to do practices and you have to learn, right? Because today is 1st of November. The deadline is I think 28 December. Few days less. But if you work hard, you can win. Not only you can participate for this competition, but you can be a part of this software industry. You can be a software engineer. Okay, so your mothers can say, my puta or dua is an engineer, software engineer. Okay, so at one point of your life, okay, when you introduce him to another house, your parents can say, my child is a software engineer. Good opportunity. You can learn a lot, and you can be a good person, you can represent as a Sri Lankan and you can work for the world now. Okay? So, now actually I will to start working again. So then now I am going to write. Now okay, now I am going to draw a diagram. I think you have pen and pencils. Please draw it, follow me. But I am not very good in, I am not the artist. Now, without any patience, without any problems, you followed me, isn't it? Right? So then now, actually, when comes to, when we were kids, we used to, speak, Amma, Mama Gedare, Amma, something like that. But because we followed our parents, no? and then we followed them, and then accordingly we learned different languages, right? So now you know how to draw this diagram. Sorry, I'm not good in drawing. So now again I am going to draw another diagram. So you have to follow. Because I am going to introduce something to you all, right? So in that context, I am going to now here in this context I use PowerPoint. It's another application, Okay, so then again I am going to use another application. It's a notepad. Okay, so then I am going to open the notepad and I am going to draw another drawing. But this drawing is different from the previous one. Please follow. Take another piece of paper and join with me. Okay. It's not required to write to your teachers, okay? They can rest. I'm sorry, I can't teach them. Right now here, I have drawn another picture, right? And then now, I'm sorry, no. Here I have drawn another picture. Use the same pieces. What do you mean? Now here in some areas I have used capital letters, and in some words I have used simple letters. Right? So when you are writing, when you are drawing this picture, you have to consider that fact. Very important. Okay? Now here public class, capital H, hello. Likewise I have written another drawing. This is your first program. Okay, I have written this program in Java. Okay, this is your first program, I suppose. I don't know how. So then now, this way, what you have to do, you have to write programs and get ready to solve different problems given to you all as a competition. Maybe if you don't get a chance to participate to the competition, please try to join the industry. Okay, what you have to do, you have to expand this program and learn different aspects of this Java program. Okay, that is what we have to do. So please, at this moment, we have to determine to give a big challenge to our evaluators in the IUI at 28 December. Okay, so then now, as a help to all, we have introduced a learning management environment. Okay, that means now we are actually, Java is a very popular language, in the world. So if you go to the internet, if you surf the internet, you can find so many resources available there. And then there's a YouTube. Without a teacher, you can learn any programming language or any subject. So there are very helpful facilities available there. At the same time, we have introduced this learning management system also for you. Okay. So then now this is your first program that I have written here. And then now, as we discussed, now when it comes to natural language, we have reserved word for singular or language like amma, tata, tree, something like that. Now here also when it comes to this particular Java language, when the Mr. James Gosling was writing his, developing this programming language, he has got reserved some words for different tasks. Okay, we call them reserved words or keywords. Now here you can see public class, static, void, these type of words are reserved words in Java. Okay, the thing is you can't use those words for other purposes, right? At the same time, now here when we are talking, let's say if you want to talk to someone else in another country, we have to use a mobile phone. So like that, now when we are working with this programming environment, we don't have some keywords reserved for some purposes. What we have to do? We have to use the library available. There are standard libraries available which consist of different classes, right? So then, now what we have to do by combining these things, we have to solve. We have to learn how to solve problems. Now here I have tried to say hello to you all, and if you want, you can replace that hello with your name and you can output. Right? So then, now if you want to try this programming environment, what you have to do, you have to have the required software. You can get it freely, you can get it downloaded. Okay, Java development kit has to get downloaded. If you go to Oracle site, you can get it downloaded, and you better try to solve different problems. And then, please get ready. Okay, but at the same time, under the direction of Professor Niel the University of Colombo School of Computing has developed, and we are going to help you, in our, way. Now here, if you go to the internet, and you can use this URL, please note it down. This is required. If you want to, send a mail, either you can use a Yahoo or something like that. Now here, this is the URL required to interact with this. Right? www.elearning.nk course. Right? Please note it down. And at this moment, I think you might have got the required username and password. I'm sorry, you don't get. Somehow you don't remember this URL, and then once you got the opportunity to get into this environment, then you have to use your username and password and log into the environment, and then you will see something like this, a learning management system, okay, which helps you to familiar with the Java programming language. You can do it very easy. Okay, the Java is a very easy program because when it comes to Java, there are around 56 keywords available. 56. You can learn. Okay, determined to compete with our evaluators. Okay, and for the challenge then we target. Okay, 20. Ayo, we are Sri Lankan, but nothing, right? So then, now here if you go here, now we are going to introduce this programming language under different sections. Okay? Now here you can see we have the first one is introduction to programming. We are going to teach all, by using this one, the programming and its environment. So under which we have different facilities. Now let's say once you go to a class, you are sitting there and the teacher is here. Okay? So then teacher is supposed to teach you. So some people are using a whiteboard, maybe blackboard, whatever. And then at the same time, you can ask questions, no? At the same time now, while the teacher is teaching, sometimes the teacher might ask different questions also to check the ability and sometimes evaluate the teacher. This also has to be checked, no? At the same time now, so then now, by using a learning environment, we have tried to give the same ability to all. Right? Now here you can see, here initially you can see the objectives. Now what is your coming here? What is the purpose of coming here? Okay. So please, you have to participate, okay? Because I am scared to be in the Gunadasa event. Right? Okay. I am scared of groups. Please participate. Right? Because I know very sleepy time. I am the most important person, the second most important, the last person to introduce these things. So then now here you have to introduce what the programming is and write your program, this type of thing. Objectives. Right? notes also can be downloaded. Okay, and then you can use them. Okay, so then when you're using, consider the so here you can see we have included this type of notes also for your understanding, right? So it's a PDF file and you can go through them. Okay, you can go through them and you can learn. Not only the programming English, and you can collaborate with other people, So then you can do that. So it then. Then at the same time, here we have provided you all with some guidelines. Okay, you have a teacher's note, you can get it downloaded and learn, and you can use it for other purposes also. In the LMS itself, we have this type of discussions also. Now when you are participating in a class, you have to speak, but we are Sri Lankan, be very realistic, including myself. Okay, I am a person who is not speaking well, right? So then, if you want, you can add a discussion topic here, that is also possible. At the same time, here we have given some ideas to write some programs. Now here, it says how to make a T, something like that, right? So then now you have to go through them and familiar with that, right? At the same time, after learning, now here we have split that introduction to programming under what is programming, nature of Java, food part of Java. Under there are 3 sections. So you have to familiar with the teacher's note, and then you can go through them. Okay, now it is time to check yourself. So what you do, you can go here, and here we have given the practice pieces. Okay, so here these are the quizzes which has been developed for you. Under each chapter, each section, you have to go through a teacher's note. At the same time, we have to practice them. You better use your notepad, and you better use then you can learn something, because other than that, we have so many integrated development environment like Eclipse, NetBeans also. But then you don't have to think. It helps a lot. But now, what you have to do in order to solve the given problem within a very in a competitive manner, you have to remember this language and the fundamentals, and you have to familiar with the algorithms, and you have to connect them together and get ready for the competition or maybe your life. So then now here you can see. Okay, now here there are questions are there. So now these questions are based on the previous discussions. So what we do now, in terms of this, there are 5 options here. You can select one of the options and you can check. Okay, you can check your answer source. Is it okay? So you have to familiar these things. That is the basic idea of this this environment. And then if you want, you can discuss. Okay, you can discuss among yourselves, maybe with us also using this facility. Okay, you can send some ideas, you can share your ideas, you can ask questions. That is also possible. It is simulating real classroom. So try to get this facility. At the same time, if you go to YouTube, or you can have so many facilities. Okay, and then at the same time, I would like to ask to do something finally. Now please try to write another this type of program to introduce yourself. In the sense, please write your name with another program. As I mentioned here, by using this portion, the print-learn method, but still you don't know that, you try to say something to the world. Here, I have tried to say hello. No? Instead of that, please try to replace the name and rewrite the program. If you don't mind, can I check your books also? So don't worry, this is the last thing, okay? I know, even though you are here, maybe thinking, I know this guy is still talking or something like that, no? But please try to get the fullest support from this area, this LMS, and try to face the competition well and give our evaluators a big challenge. Okay? If you don't mind, can I come and check your books? But not for teachers, okay? I'm sorry. I can't instruct my dear teachers. So, as introduction to Java, Java is a fully object-oriented programming language. That means now in the real world, we can see objects. Now, your objects represent the human class. Okay? So, Java is a fully object-oriented programming language, and at the same time, it is a case-sensitive programming language. What do you mean? Okay, if you have written something in upper cases or simple cases, it matters a lot. At the same time, the most important thing is Java is a platform independent programming language. What do you mean that? Maybe it's a very big word, but we are Sri Lankan, we know that. Because if you check the parliament, I'm joking, right? There are so many parliamentarians representing different governments in Sri Lanka. Still they are ministers. So platform independent. So you can learn Java very well because Java is a platform independent programming language. Right? So then at the same time, you have to understand that by using this Java you can write applications and applet source. Right? Remember this. This is a I can't explain everything to you all. So then after that, now then James Scott is the person who has invented it, developed it, I'm sorry. And then now Oracle has purchased it, right? Then by using this, you can develop very powerful programming languages. You can write network programs, database connectivity is there. At the same time, now when it comes to this programming, first of all, you have to familiar with statements and expressions. Remember that. After that, please go for operators. Operators say now if you want to add two numbers, you have to use the plus mark, no? That type of things are there. There are so many operators available. Familiar with these operators. Then after that, you have to familiar with the flow controls. This is an introduction, okay? Flow controls in the sense now if you want to flow, now here when it comes to, in your day-to-day life, you do something, as a step by step. Now here in the morning you got up, then came here, okay, after that. But sometimes you choose something. Let's say sometimes maybe some person has decided not to come here and go for a field today. Okay, so you can select something, and then sometimes you may want to do something repetitively. Let's say once you started eating something, you eat repetitively, swing hoppers maybe, until your mind says enough. Okay, so that type of things you should be able to do by a programming language. We call that flow controls. And then that type of different topics are there. Please get each and every topic, and then at the same time now once you can't get a problem, don't sit and think, okay, I can't solve this problem, this is the end of the world, something like that. No, at this moment, there are so many people have solved that problem. So you can see those answers and familiar with them, and then you can try to solve a new problem. Okay, so then don't try to work alone, because world is connected. Now world has become a global village. So you can share your knowledge. Okay, you are alone, and then once you have got a problem, don't sit and think how to do it, but try to get the resources and the help from the world and try to do it. I think the time that have spent is enough for you all. So as a last step, can I check your books if you don't mind? Now? Okay. Some people have it. So my discussion actually.
Thank you for that, Mr. Nirmal. Okay, students, now Nirmal introduced you to the sort of like the web page or the portal that you could access the learning material, which is for the Java training course. If you go, go in the market and try to, go through a training course which would cost you around 20,000-30,000. Here you're going to get it free, courtesy of the University of Colombo. So we should thank them for that, and please make use of the resources that are available for you. Okay. And this particular site will require you to have a login, a username and a password. So what we're going to do is now distribute the logins, and what we will do is we will call upon one representative from each school who is present here today to collect the logins for your colleagues as well. First of all, I would like to invite one of our IOI winners, Mr. Jaydeer, to distribute first few logins. Another college, Madhavada. Student from Ananda College, Madhavada. Sri Dharma Doctor College, Calania. बिहार महादेवी बालिका विद्यालय गिरिबाद. कुलियापीटी सेंट्रल कॉलेज कुलियापीटी. Thank you very much, Mr. Jaydeer. And next, we would like to call upon Mr. Barinder, again another IOI winner from previous year. Please come forward from Ferguson High School, Ratnapura. If you can come forward, all the members from students from Haligoda Madhyama Vidyalaya, Haligoda. Vijayaratnam Hindu College, Nigambo. Vidura College, Colombo. Thank you very much, Mr. Farid. And I would like to call upon Mr. Neomar Botejo also to distribute few logins. Swarna Jayanti Mahavidyalaya, Kegor. Carmel Fatima College, National School, Kalmuni. Oddamavadi Central College, Oddamavadi. Debalika Vidyalaya, Colombo 8. Thank you, Mr. Kiyama. And finally, I would like to call upon Professor Gyan Kurnaikar to distribute. Sir John Satanara Mahavidyalaya, Kurnaikar. St. Mary's College, Kegor. CWW Karnakar Madhyama Vidyalaya, Matukam. Joseph Vaz College, Venapur.
Anand College, Colombo 10. Thank you, Professor. I hope all of you take maximum out of this Java course and be prepared for next competition. And there will be more workshops in the future we are going to have. And now it's time for questions and answer session. I would like to invite Professor Gihan Vikramanayaka, Mr. Shifan Safai, and members from previous IO competition winners to the panel, so that you can ask any question related to IOI and how the workshops are handling, and how this competition is about and what you have to do. Any questions about this IOI competition you can ask. Please raise your hands. I think we can send you a microphone towards you. ඕනම භාෂාවකින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ අපිට. You can ask any question from any language, even English, Sinhala or Tamil.
For students as well as teachers who may have questions regarding the competition, that if you do have information that you require to take back to school, please raise your questions now.
I think I'll start from one question, because I have a question. Here there are students who have not registered or who have not signed up for these previous applications, and you might have a question how we are going to get the Java logins. So I think Professor can answer that.
So as mentioned before, those who haven't got logins, you should visit this ioi.lk website. So there you will find register as a link, and then once you click that, you will be directed to the registration process. So this is the ioi.lk website, and we have put the closing date there, but then that is for the initial set login. That doesn't mean it blocks you entering and trying these things. So there are steps given, so you have to follow those steps, and with that you just enter your name, date of birth, and email address, and you will be asked few questions. So you can answer them. If you get it wrong, you can try it again, and once you are done, it will ask you more things to complete, and then you can print a form. It will be like the application form which you have to send through the school. So because this competition has a age limit, we must make sure that when we train the students or select the team to meet the age condition, and then we will also give this information to let you know about future programs and help you to find out information.
Professor, one question came from the audience. I believe you answered the question. We still have the registrations open. You still can register. You can send new entries. You can inform your students or batchmates from school as well.
We participated in UCSC School Software Commission, and they said we are in the IOI pool. Do we have to do the quiz again or do we get selected?
Now, IOI pool, how we selected in the past was the last few years was based on people who went through the National School Software Competition organized by the Computer Society of Sri Lanka, and the students selected for the international CF competition of that, we invited them to participate because they have already gone through certain initial programming training. So some of the things what we are now telling about Java and programming, they have already done that part. So so they are able to straight away join the pool, but then that information we must have. Now I passed the information during last weekend, but then if their data is not in our system, then you may miss some of the messages. So I think doing this set of questions is like much easier than solving the problem what Sifan gave you during the class crossing the beach. So I would encourage to just to try, so that it's stimulating questions. So you need to have that problem solving. You should have the interest to do problem solving. Otherwise, you won't be able to go to the next level. So although it's like redoing something, I would still suggest to do that. So they are anyway part of the pool automatically, but then I would encourage them also to submit the information in the same way. Similarly, there are few who was in the last year's pool, that is this 2013 pool. They are also automatically taken into the pool to guide. So we will be strengthening the pool by inviting newcomers, but that doesn't mean that those who have gone through should neglect, because others can come and overtake you. So you need to keep in touch, and because this new system was introduced for 2014, some of the data is not available. So it's easy for us if you all fill that form rather than us filling for yourself. Hope I answered the question.
And I would like to ask some questions from previous IOI competition winner. What drive you to participate in IOI, and how you succeeded? Can you give some insight on that?
Well, actually, like I started programming at around when I was in grade 8 or something. I got to know about IOI. Actually, I started programming for IOI. I got to know about IOI from my school. Then I applied. I couldn't select to the pool in the same year. I could select the pool the next year when I was in grade 9. So in grade 8, I was in a similar stage like you guys are in now. So kind of a tough time those days, learning a language and things like that. But you'll be paid off if you learn the language very well and try to solve problems using the language. Probably after learning the language, biggest thing you can gain out of the IOI is, no matter you go for the competition or not, to the international competition or not, the biggest thing you can gain from this program is, what I see is the training. The training we have in here. You get to learn a lot of algorithms and data structures, and you're gonna learning a language is kind of learning how to programming language is like a tool. You use that tool to solve problems. You need to you need to learn algorithms, but to make something out of those algorithms, you need this tool for programming language. So first you need to learn the programming language. After that, then only you can go to the next stage of learning algorithms and data structures, which is the most important thing. Because as Shivan explained, to do great stuff, you need to know how to solve problems, and I hope you guys can go to that stage. Just start learning the language first, then go on. And it might take several years. Maybe it might not happen the same year. For me also, the first year didn't happen. I couldn't select the pool, but year after, and I could come to the thing and learn a lot and keep on momentum learning.
about what school you studied and how your performance in A-levels and the university.
Maybe Farid also got to add about that. But to start with, actually, I said I started learning programming at grade 8. When I was just before that, I was not that good in maths. Till I get something around 60 or something like that before learning programming. Maybe because I was not into the studies much. Anyway, but the thing was, learning programming helped me a lot to improve my logic, how I logically think about things and try to understand things. And anyway, this is a question like a lot of people ask when doing something like, when involved with something like Olympiads, whether they're gonna miss O-levels, A-levels, they're gonna not perform on these exams and not within the university and like doing but actually the truth is not that. Like evidence, like Shifa has already shown you, no matter you get a medal or no matter you could get participate in the international competition, Shifa has shown you the evidence. But in my experience, what happened was participating in this training, it helped me a lot improve myself, how I think about stuff, and my logical ability. And that improvement in my brain through these trainings helped a lot for the studies at school. Actually, we didn't spend a lot of time doing A-levels or O-levels, but we could do pretty well in A-levels. Actually, he became Island 8. I ended up 34. We both did maths. So we didn't like put a lot of effort for A-levels. In the sense that we put effort to pass it, but not that like we didn't like stop doing. We never thought IOI is something abstract. Your path to the A-levels. It's kind of gonna help you. Like those days I can remember, like we could do like understand mathematics in A-levels very easily because what we have done in Olympiads when we were at grade 10 or 9. Actually, to be honest, like we went to university after that to Auditorium, and we had programs and all. Actually, some stuff we learn at the training is more than what we learn at the university. Actually, even now, most of the things we use in practice, like fundamental, are like from IOI, not from schools. And on the other hand, even say something like some other software principles or some like, totally different area, not the computer. To understand something scientific, the training we got from IOI, the practice we got from that helped a lot to like work, change our subject and learn it quickly and understand it.
I'll just add to Chaitya. Chaitya is from Malyadeva Gunadasa, and so in addition to Informatics Olympiad, I think he took part in Maths Olympiad as well later on. And then some of them have taken part in physics and other areas as well. And also during the university time, they became world #1 in the IEEE extreme competition, beating all other university students in programming. So this background helped them to reach that. Parinda is from Royal College, and
So like he said, this helped me quite a lot with my education for A-levels, for university. We actually did like study for A-levels, but doing this, it was now results. Maybe a little, but not as much. And there was the example of one guy, Dr. Niel, he studied medicine, which is totally relevant to what we're studying here. And that year, they had an election during the middle of the A-level examination. So the chemistry paper got postponed by a couple of weeks. And there was a gap of about 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks, during which the IOI was held. So he made a very brave call and went to the IOI and got a gold medal. And up until now, he is so happy that he made that decision instead of studying chemistry, saying yeah, studying chemistry. And he lost something because he could make it to the Colombo medical faculty. He had to go to Ragama medical faculty where he was the best for the best second. But what he is involved in now and what he is doing now, he says that he is doing way better than doctors, and he is employing about 6 doctors who has given up being practicing as doctors and working for startups. And then he also had a similar case during all where he had another competition and he had to go there even the league here, and he was after the half day between the 10 papers we had for all so those kind of stuff a lot of us have done, and like he said, I don't think it's gonna harm your education. And why we are emphasizing this on and on is because from 2007 onward, IOI has never won a medal, and the pools were like earlier those days the pool had around 14 people, and now it's down to 4 or 5, and everybody who's in the pool gets selected to the team and takes part and means nothing to that. So we come to believe that the main reason behind this is the emphasis on A-level. So that's why keeping on telling that it doesn't harm your other general education.
How many of you are like before all of us here? Almost. How many doing like A-level, B-level class?
Just to add on the A-level thing, when even I won the gold medal competition was in 1995 July. 1995 August I was doing the A-level, so there was a bit of pressure from the family. Should you send him abroad to this competition? Should he stay at home and study for the A-levels? But somehow the decision was made to allow me to go for that opportunity, and that was very good in a way because that was the year that I won the gold medal. And out of all the people who made it to the team, I don't think anybody has failed in the A-levels or not got to the university they wanted to get. If at all, by having the fact that they were part of the team, they managed to get scholarships to go to foreign universities and things because the universities wanted them so much. And the other angle also of this is that this is the chance to represent the country at international competition. And very few people get that kind of opportunity to go abroad and represent the country. Like unless you're doing some sports and you reach a very high level, it's a very rare chance. And other than maybe cricket, this is actually the event that Sri Lanka has got the most performances on. There isn't any other event where you can say that Sri Lanka has won 3 gold medals and totally 26 or 34 medals. So that's an immense chance as well that you should try to win.
Do we have any other questions? I believe the former participants, enlightened you that there's no worry that you should have about participating in this event, and the worries that more than you probably your parents have about you not qualifying to your O-levels or A-levels.
which is natural in Sri Lanka. But you have very good examples right in front of you that you should not worry about participating in IOI. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Yes.
The test you're going to conduct, is it in both? We can now see.
We will later on the website post some updates about what kind of questions you all can expect, but it's not going to be like some really difficult sort of questions, because we're not trying to eliminate people from the process, but we're just trying to filter like the people who are putting the effort to learn the language to give the next level of training. So it's not going to be a really difficult sort of exam. If you spend the next 2 months following online course, definitely you can do well in that, and we'll have some sample questions up on the website.
Okay, I believe your doubts have been cleared. We will be available even after the session. If you do have a question, to talk with the people from the IOI, people who have represented IOI before, you could talk to them before they leave. But I hope they could spare some extra minutes, few minutes, if you do have any questions, if you do need to talk to them. Okay. And since there are no more questions, I would thank the team and the representatives for being with us in the evening to answer your questions.
And the events that we have scheduled for the day has come to an end. So to adjourn the seminar today, I'd like to call upon Mr. Dimuthu Sarachandra, representing 7 Steps Globe, who's partnering with the UCSC to support this event, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shamila. On behalf of the Sri Lanka International Olympiad of Informatics Organizing Committee and its chairman, Professor Niel, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Niel Gunadasa, Director ICT, Ministry of Education, for his continuous support, and the teachers, parents and students who are present today with us. A special thanks also goes out to Learn TV and Digit for providing us much valuable media coverage for this inaugural workshop. Last but not least, we appreciate the valuable contributions made by Mr. Dilbit Herat, Mr. Sifan Sawadir, Mr. Nirmal Boteju, Mr. Chetia and Mr. Parinder in making this event a success. In conclusion, I wish that this workshop will be instrumental in enabling us to bring back the Sri Lanka IOI participation to the winning ways from the IOI 2014 onwards. Hope to see you all at the next workshop very soon, and thank you very much and have a good day.